Alright, so today is going to be a tutorial on how to make a explosive barrel. And this will be for Unreal Engine 4, Unreal Engine 5, and it can work in any project. I'm going to be doing it inside of my own multiplayer zombie survival template here, just so I have a character to run around and shoot things and apply damage. But you can do it in any project. I'm going to use this cool barrel pack that was provided to me by Agora Games Brazil. It's on the Fab Marketplace. I'll put a link to it in the description. And let's get right into it. So, what we're going to do is I'm just going to make a new folder to repeat this whole process of setting this up. So, let's just make a new folder and I'll call it Explosive Barrel. And what we want to do first is let's make the actual blueprint. So we'll just right click, hit blueprint class, click on actor, call it explosive barrel BP. Alright, let's open it up. First thing you want to do is do a few tweaks on the detail settings over here. Let's make sure replicate is true. Let's put the net update frequency to something like 2. Let's uncheck start with a tick enabled. And then let's add our mesh. So we'll add a static mesh. This will be called the barrel mesh. And then pick your model. So I'm going to just go ahead and use the one from the pack, which is this nice red one here. So you set your barrel mesh. And since this pack comes with a bunch of different versions of the barrel, I'm going to have destroyed version, damaged version, exploded version, and we're going to set it up like that. See, it has all these. So to do that, let's in the folder where we've created this blueprint, let's right click and make a new blueprint enumeration. It's an enum. I'm going to call it explosive barrel enum. Open it up. Let's add a new enumerator here. This will just be called, the first one will be normal, and we'll add 2 more. We'll have normal, we'll have damaged, and then we'll have exploded. I think that's about the 3 states of a fire barrel. Normal means it's normal, not doing anything. Damaged means it's probably on fire, and exploded is exploded. Alrighty, let's go ahead and add a new variable. We'll just call it the barrel state, and the variable type is going to be that one enum we just made, explosive barrel enum. Compile, save, and as you can see here, normal, damage, exploded. So we'll keep the default state normal. And what we want to do next is we'll come into the event graph. We don't need the tick or the overlap. We'll get rid of that. But we're going to need some variables. So let's give it a barrel health. That'll be our first variable. Set it to type float. And let's make another float variable called barrel damage threshold. Compile, save that. And the threshold's going to be something like, in most video games, we'll have like, let's say barrel health, we'll set the health to 500. And once the barrel gets below 500, it explodes. But let's say you want to shoot it maybe 2 or 3 times before the barrel catches on fire, right? So if it's a big red barrel, we shoot it 3 times, it catches on fire, you shoot it again while it's on fire, it explodes, something like that. So the threshold can be like a percentage, say 0.75. Once it gets below 0.75, a percentage of the health, then it'll catch on fire. So to do that, we will just say get the barrel health, and we'll multiply it by this new barrel threshold, and then set the we're going to set the threshold to set barrel threshold as like this, and then we'll just type in 0.75 here. If I could type right. You can promote this to a variable if you want, but I'm just gonna leave it hard set at 0.75. But yeah, you can customize this as to the extent that you want. So what that'll do is that'll give us, say, like if this was 100 health, if we multiply by this, then the threshold would be 75. So that's an easy way of visualizing it. And what that's going to do is when we come in here and add event any damage, and then we set the barrel health to barrel health minus whatever the damage is, like this, subtract the damage that's incoming. This will give us the new barrel health. And what we want to do is we want to check the barrel health against to see if it's less than or equal to 0. And we'll do a branch. If it's less than or equal to 0, then it's just going to explode. And if it's not, then we want to do a check again here, copy and paste, to see if it is less than or equal to that threshold, which is right here. So we could do some comments here. Less than 0, then explode. And then this one, less than threshold, then catch on fire. Okay. Now we want to use the barrel state here to do some stuff. So we'll do the barrel state, drag it in, get it, and you can drag off and say switch on enum here, and it gives you this. So first thing we want to do is, let's see, if you're less than or equal to the threshold, then that means we need to catch on fire, but we need to check. If it's normal, then we want to set the threshold, set the state to damaged. But we only want to do this once, so use a do once. So that will set it, like if it's a normal barrel and you shoot it, it catches on fire. Now if you want to, if you shoot it and it's already damaged, then you're probably going to want it to explode, right? If the barrel is on fire and you shoot it, boom, it explodes. And then if it's exploded, you don't do anything. And then we're going to come up here and do the same thing on up here on the true when it explodes. If it's less than 0 health, then do once, set explode. And then we got to set up some logic for the actual effects and damage and things like that. So let's just go ahead and do a apply radial, if I could spell it, apply radial damage with fall off. Let's give you a nice damage in an area. Base damage, it's up to you what you want. You can set these manually, you can promote them to variables. We'll do something like 500 damage with a minimum damage of 100. And the origin, get actor location. And then the inner radius, I don't know, we'll do something like 500. Outer radius, 1000. Fall off, 2. And get a reference to self, just right click, type self. Put that in as damage causer. And there we go. And the damage prevention channel is visibility. So make sure you come into here on your barrel mesh, scroll down to collision, and you probably want to set this to something like, what, destructible? Yeah, we'll go with destructible. You can adjust any of these collision settings if you need to. So that way, hopefully that'll all work. And then now we just need an event, custom event. I'm gonna call it barrel explode. And since we're doing it all, this is a server event. We don't really need to set this as a server unless you're gonna call it somewhere else. So you can set this to server if you need to, but since we're only using it already on the server, we don't need to change it. So this will play the actual explosion. This will play do the actual damage need to call that now. So up here we'll say barrel explode. There we go. And then what is down here? Let's see, damaged, barrel explode. There we go. And that should do the damage part of it. And the rest is just going to be some visuals, audio and visual. But sometimes in video games they have that timer where if you shoot it and it catches on fire, then it ticks down 5 seconds and then it explodes on its own. So maybe we might want to do that too. So we can do a simple set timer by event, and we can just connect that to this top part. So when it sets it to damaged, you could promote this to a variable too. It's the time that it takes to explode. We'll do 3 seconds. Do not check looping or anything else. Drag off the event, type in a custom event name. How about force explosion? And then just barrel explosion. Barrel explode. So after 3 seconds of being on fire, it'll explode on its own and do this. So let's drag it into the level and I'll show you what that should work here. Go. Yeah, so it's working damage wise. Now all we have to do is the visuals, which is easy. So I just grabbed some random Niagara effects and just some default sound effects of explosion. I think it's a grenade launcher or something exploding. But you could use whatever you want. You can even use old school Cascade particle effects or the new ones, Niagara, well, whatever you prefer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add them right here into this and then just activate and deactivate them. So I already set up the ones that I liked, so I'll show you. Like you literally would just click add and then type in like audio, right? And then you can set whatever. Like I have a fire cue. It's literally from the starter content. It's just the sound of fire crackling and burning. And you add it in here, type in activate and uncheck auto activate. That way the sound doesn't play immediately. And then we're also going to do the add Niagara particle system component, and I want one for fire. And again, all these are not set to auto activate. They're all unchecked because if you left it checked, it would look like this all the time. So we are just going to do a lot of this. Let me show you. There. So I'm going to add a sound effect for fire. I'm going to add a ground fire effect, which you don't have to do. It's just fire on the ground. Looks like this. After an explosion, I'm going to play that. I'm going to add an explosion sound effect. And I'm going to add a fire for when the barrel is on fire. And I'm going to have another Niagara effect for the actual explosion like that. And they're all set to uncheck auto activate. So then all we have to do is we come into here back in our graph, and I'm just going to click on a variable for the enum, the barrel state, and I'm going to change the replication to rep notify. Then you can double click on it and we can drag in our barrel state variable, drag off, say switch on explosive barrel enum, and this is where we can do our activating based on the state. So what I'm going to do is probably just activate on damage, we'll activate the fire sound effect, and we need the Niagara fire. Drag off, type in activate. I'm going to reset on both of them. And that'll be on damage. And then we can, let's see, copy, paste. On explode, we're just going to turn off. Probably deactivate the fire. and the Niagara fire and the sound effects, and then we're going to activate the explosive effect and the explosive sound effect and the Niagara ground fire. And that will do it for the effects. It's literally just activating and deactivating your sounds and your view effects. And the other thing is the actual barrel mesh. You want to set static mesh to whatever you want it to look like. So on damaged, let's go look at them. So when you damage it, how about it goes from this normal to this dented, burn up looking barrel. So just set static mesh here to that one. And then on explode, we can set it to this one here that looks destroyed. Boom, set it there. And there you go. So now when you shoot it, it will switch this state, which will trigger the different visual effects, and you'll have all of your nice effects and stuff playing. Let's try it out. So you shoot it, catches on fire, switch the model, and I died, but I don't think it actually exploded. Make sure I set that up right. Barrel explode, let's see, normal, damaged, 3, barrel explode. Oh yeah, we didn't. We have to set it to explode here. There, I just forgot to put the state here on the, when it actually explodes, set it to exploded. Now it should work. Shoot it, catches on fire, 1, 2, 3, oh, and I'm dead. And that's pretty much it. I think that effect right there might play forever if depending on the Niagara effect. So you might want to disable it after a set amount of time. So let's see, the Niagara fire. We might, you know what? We can adjust this a little bit. Exploded can just set the actual mesh and stop the previous and set the mesh, and we'll just do the actual explosion in an event. That way we have control over it and it doesn't mess with anything. So just tweak it a little bit. On exploded, you deactivate the fire sound effects and the fire effect. You set the exploded mesh, and let's see, we'll do it inside the actual explode. We'll do the activation of the particle effects and the sound effects for the explosion, and we'll also do a set timer by event. I mean, you can also do a delay, I guess, but maybe 4 seconds. After 4 seconds, stop, fire, VFX. And this is where you'll take the Niagara ground effects and disable. Well, thought I was gonna say deactivate. There you go. And you deactivate it. So then you come into the game, you hit play. I'm also gonna wait for those zombies to spawn over there. Shot it once. There we go. Now I caught on fire. Boom! Kills the enemies over there. You can see the fire on the ground, and after a few seconds it'll go away. And there you go. You're left with an explosive barrel that's been destroyed. That's pretty much it. You can customize it to your liking. I mean, this pack here that I have has all sorts of destructible meshes, chunks of barrel, different barrels, green barrels. You can use all the different stuff you want. and customize it to your liking. So I hope that helped, and you can use it in your game since this is kind of a common theme in video games. And yeah, and if you haven't already, check out my new game called Snack Invaders. It's on Steam. It's coming out, I think, in Q3. We'll see. I just need y'all's support with wish lists. If you didn't know, the more wish lists you get, the better the Steam algorithm is on promoting your game and helping you actually succeed and not just burying your game under all the other stuff out there. So check it out. It's basically like a Call of Duty Zombies meets junk food hordes where you're just fighting hordes of, as you can see, pizza and candy and spaghetti and meatballs and crazy boss fights. So if you like Call of Duty Zombies, if you like epic boss fights, Souls-like bosses, games like Remnant 2, I mean, it's got it all. It's a it's a wacky game. It's fun. It's 4-player co-op. There's a free demo. You can try it out and just add it to your wish list, and that will help me out a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.